Mike Johnson's luck and time appears to be running out in his bid to try to hush up, cover up the Epstein files. He does not want them to ever see the light of day, but the votes are apparently not going to go his way soon because there's a special election. It's actually to be happening in just the next 24 hours. It's to fill a congressional seat in Arizona. And the bad news for Mike Johnson is that it's not like, oh no, if the Democrat gets in, then the Epstein files might get released. No, in this case, both of the candidates, both the Democrat and the Republican, have both said that they will sign Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna's discharge petition to have an actual vote on releasing all the Epstein files. This is Adelita Grijalva. We talked about the race just like a month or a month and a half ago. And her Republican challenger, Daniel Butierez, have publicly expressed their intent to provide the deciding signature on the discharge petition to circumvent Johnson and force a House vote on releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files. And so that, you can take that to the bank. I mean, obviously Grijalva is not going to turn on that. And what is Daniel Butierez going to do? What is he just lying? Come on. He couldn't be lying to get elected. I don't want to be a downer. And it's possible that he'll be, principled or whatever. There are some Republicans who have actually signed it. But it is possible that if he wins, he just turns around and says, well, now I met with Mike Johnson. He made these great points about the strategy. So anyway, the important thing is him not getting elected. Let Grijalva get elected. She'll sign the discharge petition. It'll be awesome. And as of right now, Johnson has said that he will not block the petition via the Rules Committee. And again, he could be lying, but he said that he wouldn't. And so right now with the House's current makeup, Thomas Massie, the Republican, Ro Khanna, the Democrat, are just one signature shy on their bid to force a vote, which would again mean that if Grijalva got in, they could sign that. Johnson could try to block it via the House Rules Committee, but he and the committee chair, Virginia Foxx, have both reportedly said they wouldn't do so. The issue is, you all know the sort of person that Mike Johnson is. And you know how deferential he is to Donald Trump and how little he actually cares about bringing to justice sex predators and all that. You may not know much about Virginia Foxx, but I have to cover, in our scripted videos, we talk about Virginia Foxx a lot. She sucks really bad, man. She's terrible. And so either or both of them could well be lying about this. I hope not. I hope that they're feeling the pressure. My fear, Viviana, and I'll turn to you now, is that the pressure they might have been feeling from the right to do something about the Epstein files, I kind of feel like the Charlie Kirk tragedy and all of the, the bloodlust for cancel culture since then, I feel like most right wingers just don't care anymore. I feel like now they smell blood. They want this crusade against the left. I feel like, I don't know, the Epstein thing feels a bit old news at this point. Do you disagree?
It's almost like they created a distraction. It's like, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist here, but it's almost like they wanted to take attention away from it. John, I used to be a children's social worker, and I can tell you that people turn their back on child abuse every single day. So I am not surprised if this goes under the rug, in the closets. There's so many family skeletons with this kind of disgusting, it is absolutely abhorrent, the things that we have heard about the Epstein files, about the Jeffrey Epstein's life, his alliances. I absolutely 100% believe that these things are true. Just by knowing the nature of people in power and how corrupt they are, and the disgusting lust that people have for children. It happens. And as you mentioned, the right campaigned on this. I mean, they were like, we're gonna burn them. And I'm like, yeah, burn them. But now all of a sudden, now everybody's getting raptured. Charlie Kirk is Jesus. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Yeah, to be clear, the official position of the damage report is that neither for distraction or the Israeli government had Charlie Kirk murdered. That's just, I
just said a distraction, not that anybody was intentionally killed. I just mean that this distraction,
you can use an event,
was concocted to make it like, let's look at this, look over here. And, it's just, I don't want to believe that happened, but it just seems like this is very convenient for us to all put our attention over here instead of what, is really serious. I mean, these are people's lives have been destroyed, ruined. We don't even know all of the victims.
Exactly, yeah. And if anybody out there thinks that Donald Trump wouldn't callously and selfishly use a tragedy like this for his own political gain, Look, we can't talk. There's no point in us talking at this point if you don't understand who Donald Trump is after a decade of him showing you it. But anyway, we'll see. I am pessimistic. I remember a poll from like a week ago, and there are still some Republicans that care about this, but Republicans in general rate Trump's handling of the Epstein files higher than they did before Pam Bondi came out and said that we're done with it. After all of this, all the cover up, all the attacks on the victims, moving Ghislaine Maxwell to minimum security, all that stuff, they think he's doing a better job now than they did before that. That is a searing indictment of them. They did not actually believe, the vast majority did not actually believe it. But anyway, let's turn to another aspect of this. With one more Democrat likely being elected in the Arizona special election in the next day, that means that things like funding the government, those sort of contentious votes are gonna be more difficult for the Republicans going forward. That margin that the Republicans have in the House keeps getting narrower. And of course, right now, in terms of funding it, we turn to the Senate, where the Republicans presumably have to work with the Democrats because they need 7 of their votes. But Donald Trump, he has a different sort of strategy. He released this opus, this novella. I read fantasy novels for fun, and ain't nobody got time for that, Trump. Dear God, can you learn how to edit things down? I want to run that through ChatGPT. I'm not generally big on AI, but if it can lower the word count. Anyway, he's basically saying don't work with them at all because they're insane. And here are a couple of the choice bits. He says, I have decided that no meeting with their congressional leaders could be productive. They are threatening to shut down the government unless they can have over $1 trillion in new spending to continue free healthcare for illegal aliens, a monumental cost. I apologize to TD, I'm gonna pause every once in a while. What's the $1 trillion in new spending? It's the $1 trillion they literally just cut from Medicaid. It's not $1 trillion for aliens or whatever. It's the spending they just cut. See how this works? They cut that spending and then they imply that if we went back to the status quo of literally 3 months ago, well, that's crazy. That's so irresponsible. They want to force taxpayers to fund transgender surgery for minors. That's not a thing. Have dead people on Medicaid rolls, again, not a thing. Allow illegal alien criminals to steal billions of dollars in American taxpayer benefits, that does not actually exist. And those undocumented migrants actually pay into a system, the benefits of which they do not have access to. They help to subsidize those benefits for American citizens. And then he decides, I need something more. I know I already covered trans panic, but I'm gonna go back to the trans stuff. They wanna try to force our country to have open borders, allow men to play in women's sports, and essentially create transgender operations for everybody. And look, MAGA, if there's anybody MAGA watching this, if you are so far gone at this point, if your brain has been so puddingified by right-wing media that you believe when they use a thing like transgender for everybody, if you think that that is based on literally anything, I just wish you would just go watch Matlock, man. Stop paying attention to politics. It has never served your interests. Your vote is not gonna be helpful for the future of America. Transgender people are like between 1 in 1,000 and 1 in 100 in America. Okay, they are an aggrieved minority, which has been disproportionately targeted not only by the federal government, not only by social media, not only by right-wing media, but also by state legislatures to the tune of literally hundreds of laws trying to push them into the shadows. But aside from that, they have asked for basically nothing. They have been given basically nothing. The idea that they are everything that is American politics, and you can be so easily conned into supporting things like your Medicaid being defunded. Because trans for everybody, you gotta wake up, man. Maybe I'll use a different term. I don't wanna make you think of woke or whatever. It's another buzzword, another trigger thing. But my God, you are being so easily conned, Viviana. What do you think?
I'm so tired, John. I'm so tired because this is the distractions that I'm talking about. They'll find one story that seems, outlandish, and then they'll really put all their fire towards it. And then, and I have members of my own family. Well, what about this? Well, they're giving books to children in school to tell them about this and then, and it's like, show me, where did you get this information? They can never provide it. Yeah. And perhaps there's one case that something like this did happen regarding undocumented people. One case about a child receiving, I don't know, some sort of necessary health care to be associated with their transgender, identification. And it's used and blown up beyond belief. And everybody just gets so shaken up by it. And you're talking to MAGA people, and I think we should try to talk to them. Right now, there's a lot of hate and anger and division. And I try to remind everybody that this is a class thing they're trying to divide. And they make it a culture war. They make it about transgender or undocumented people. But at the end of the day, these MAGA people who think they're against us or they're against transgender, we're all in the same boat. We're gonna all have to start being woke now that they love the word. And we're gonna have to start realizing that you're just the same under attack as a transgender person, 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000. I'm exhausted. Sorry, my camera.
Is just, it is the one thing people need to understand about American politics is that they use this stuff to get poor people to support policies that screw them over. That has been the story of America from the very beginning. The thing that they focus on changes the ranking of it or whatever. Sometimes it's more racism, sometimes it's more like anti-immigrant xenophobia, sometimes it's transgender or whatever. But that's all it is, okay? The president is doing so explicitly. I'm not gonna name names of members of the media who are now MLK or whatever that did the exact same thing, but that's what their job is. It's to get people to support economic policies that screw them over by distracting them with identity politics. And the myth that the media allowed to perpetuate, that it's the left that's obsessed with identity politics, is the most vicious lie in American history, I think, when it is the right that has done it from the very beginning.